These arrangements, because if we put them to outside now, we're going to dry.
I can put them in my refrigeration unit, but I can't promise you.
No, I
what they're
understand.
gonna look like.
That's what
Yeah.
if you can. It would be-
I'll try. So you want all three pieces?
Yeah. Flower is another small something like that.
As long as I get the death certificate, which was when we ran out of camp last time, I haven't had a chance to look today because I had 3 funerals and I had to get back to the airport. So, but my plan is when I get back, I'll check if it's done. I'll complete the certificate, I'll send the examiner when I send the permit. And then once the medical examiner issues the permit, then we get a second permit from the county clerk. But, providing that, then the creation will take place tomorrow. Do my best. I should have an answer for you guys. I've class the very first thing I'll do. Now, one thing I could do, this is Doran Pumpkin, he's the federal director that I worked with many years ago. I know he sold a business on Dumpster Public. I used to work at Kaiser at Broadway. So I can leave with capable hands. Doran, I can go back to the office right now and work on it.
I think it was
Seven. I don't know.
I mean, I could be back in the office in about an hour, so I don't really.
but she said that she faxed it.
Well, if you're on low, that's because I see it on the email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's around.
Because the surgery was very important. And change all this place. All my needs. Actually, yeah, he's not good condition. He's sitting in the chair, that's it. He's not treating like before. Delivery from. Right now, while his mother.
about to begin the service. Would everyone please put your cell phones to silent mode? Family, please sit up here in these seats. The funeral service is being conducted by Cantor Pavel Reitman from the Day Moon of Beth Hillel.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Friends, we have gathered here today for a sad occasion, We came to bid farewell to our beloved Bella, a wonderful human being, a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and friend. At this time, as it has been the custom for generations of our people, we recite passages from our tradition that hopefully will help us to make this transition and bring us a sense of comfort. L'chol zman v'et l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim. A season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for planting and a time for reaping, a time for keeping and a time for discarding, a time for loving and a time for hating, a time for embracing and a time for refraining, a time for slaying and a time for healing, a time for laughing and a time for weeping, a time for dancing and a time for wailing, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for speaking and a time for silence. Silence always accompanies grief, but also is the speech. Stories, memories are the ones we remember here today. Our tradition has many beautiful readings. One of them, Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, is customary recital on Shabbat. And this is a beautiful poem about a woman of valor, such was our Bella. It says in part, "What a precious find is Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forth and bless her. Her husband praises her, saying, 'Many women have done superbly, but you suppress them all.'" We are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived, with all who will ever be. Cry for the dead, hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuous sorrow is worse than death. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, are our days in eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good reputation endures forever. Bella was a kind, loving, and compassionate woman. She lived a long and meaningful life, finding purpose and joy in taking care of those she cared about and loved. Hers was not an easy journey. Like many of her generation, Bella lived through the war and experienced political and social upheavals of life in the USSR. When the time came, Bella made the courageous decision to leave Russia and immigrate to the US. Her path was filled with challenges, but Bella persevered, survived, and eventually found a new home here in America. Hardworking, intelligent, resilient, and strong, Bella built a life filled with blessings that will now become a legacy for those she left behind. Bella's life reads like a story worth telling and worth remembering. And today, as we retell the story of Bella's life, we recall and remember all that was good and beautiful on her journey. We remember Bella in our hearts and our memories. She will forever remain an everlasting blessing. Bella was born in Minsk in 1936 to Faina, Fega, and Ivan. She also had an older brother, Kim, whom she loved dearly. Both Kim and Bella were very young when Great Patriotic War began. In the first days of the war, their father was drafted while Faina, Bella, and Kim were evacuated east to Kazakhstan, away from the front lines. Life in evacuation was not easy. Scarcity of food and basic necessities, different culture and customs, together with the outside pressures of the ongoing war, left a mark in Bella's memory. Even many years later, she vividly remembered her time in exile, a period marked by experiences and emotions that in many ways shaped her life. It was perhaps at that time that Bella began to develop a strong sense of resilience that characterized her throughout her life. A mere child, she learned how to survive and persevere, and that served her well when she became older. In those days, growing up happened quickly. First the war and then the post-war restoration and rebuilding required dedication and strength from those who survived. Bella's family did survive that war, and now they needed to start over and to build their lives anew. Bella attended school where she was a star student, assiduous and smart. She graduated with a silver medal, an equivalent of graduation with distinction and special achievement in learning. Besides her academic achievements, Bella excelled in sports. She played volleyball for Spartak Sports Club and was quite good at playing piano. Socially, Bella appeared to be private and reserved, yet she was also a loving and caring person. The evidence of that is the friendships that she formed during her school years. Bella maintained these friendships and throughout her life. Bella maintained these friendships all throughout her life and was known to be a loyal and dedicated friend. One of Bella's friends, Ilya, would eventually become her besheret, her destined partner and beloved husband for over 60 years. Ilya and Bella lived in the same neighborhood just a few blocks away from each other. They were a part of the same circle of friends who spent time together after school, singing songs and playing guitar on the playground. Ilya was good-looking and smart. An avid reader, he shared his passion for books with Bella. But this was only one of the points of attraction that initially brought them closer. There were many other reasons why the two of them fell for each other, but no matter the reasons, there clearly was a true and deep love, a romance that started in their teens and continued all throughout their lives. At that time, Bella already graduated high school and became a student at prestigious Belarus Polytechnical Institute. She studied engineering and design of power plants and eventually graduated as a specialist in her field. Being a talented and well-skilled professional, a capable leader, Bella quickly went up the career ladder. She started as a junior engineer and ended up a senior position in charge of the research group. Bella was respected and loved by colleagues and friends alike. She was successful professionally, and even though at times she was being looked down upon as a woman and a Jew, Bella stayed her course, succeeded, and persevered. Such was the power of her resilient character and her will to overcome adversity and to survive. And survive she did, but not only, she flourished, both professionally and at home, where Bella found her calling as a loving and caring mother and head of the household. Bella's children, Alex and Tim, spoke at length about their mother's enduring love and her role as a consummate caretaker and friend. Alex recalled Bella's many acts of selfless devotion, including seemingly simple things like when she stood in line for hours to buy, at the time rare but delicious pineapple for her sons to enjoy. Alex too recalled Bella's role as his and Tim's parent and guide, encouraging her sons to study and work hard to pursue their goals in life. As Alex shared in our conversation, Bella was strict but fair and always wanted to make sure that he and Tim did their best. Tim too recalled Bella's positive role in their lives and the way in which she was dedicated to her family with so much devotion and love. Tim also mentioned the determination and the inner strength that defined Bella in life. He spoke of her resilience, especially during the challenging times during her life in the USSR, and later on here in the US. Bella and family came to America in the late 80s. They first settled in Minneapolis, but later moved to Chicago, drawn there by the fact that many of Bella's compatriots and friends from Minsk had either moved or had been moving there. Life in America was not easy, especially in the beginning of Bella's journey here. Different languages and customs, new people and places felt overwhelming at times. Yet this strong and resilient woman found herself in this new country and eventually became a proud American in her own right. A key part of her success story was Bella's unique sense of determination and ability to adapt. Even though she held a high-ranking professional position back in Minsk, Bella understood that in America sacrifices needed to be made. Therefore, without hesitation and regret, she took a job at a factory less prestigious than the one she held in the USSR. But prestige was the last thing in her mind. Bella wanted to work and to feel needed, and she did just that, together with Ilya, who worked at the same factory by her side. In addition to work, and perhaps even more so, what kept Bella rooted in her life was her beloved family. Alex, Tim, her grandson, Val, Emma, Mark, and their friends and partners. They were the center of Bella's life and the purpose of her existence. When the family lived in Minsk, all in the same house, as it was the way of life, Bella made sure that everyone was taken care of and loved. When the family moved to the United States, Bella continued to be involved in the well-being and welfare of her loved ones. In addition to being there for her sons, Bella sent packages of clothing and food to her grandson, Val, who at the time stayed behind. She wanted to make sure that her grandson wanted for nothing, and she did her best to extend her care and love across the ocean and during difficult times. Bella was happy when Val came to the U.S. and felt a deep sense of joy in spending time with Val's children, both of whom she loved dearly. Being in America allowed Bella to enjoy her life qualitatively better than back in the USSR. Here she had access to the best of what America could offer, including music, art, food, and of course travel. Bella and Ilya traveled together to Italy, the UK, and Thailand, and she saw the world in a way in which she'd never have seen if she stayed in Russia. That said, her best and her memorable journeys were those with her family. And it didn't have to be in Italy or in Thailand. It could have been nearby in the city of Milwaukee, where Bella's family at times vacationed together. As long as she was next to her loved ones, Bella was happy and content, feeling fulfilled and accomplished. Unfortunately, life has its ups and downs. In 2022, her beloved Ilya passed away and she was left alone. Even before that, the debilitating disease gradually crept in, causing her to withdraw into her own world. Children and grandchildren who witnessed her decline were at her side, with Alex, who lived closer, spending significant time and effort caring for his mom. Tim visited and took care of her too, and Val and the grandchildren were nearby as well. Even though it would have been typical for her kind of a disease to have a debilitating effect on her memory, Bella miraculously remembered everyone, including her neighbors and friends. I want to mention here Natalia Nikolska and Raisa Kochina, who were one of the many friends that she had and who were an integral part of Bella's life until the very end. As Tim mentioned in our conversation, the last few months of Bella's life were particularly difficult, mainly because it was clear there was nothing that could be done in the long term to save her life. But even then, Bella's resilience must have played a role, for she beat all the prognoses and lived longer than expected until she could not live anymore. Bella passed away surrounded by family and friends, embraced by care and love that she cherished and deserved. She left behind a legacy of resilience, endurance, and deep and affectionate love. She also left a story of her life, one that will forever be an example for those she left behind. May Bella's memory be a blessing. May she rest in peace, and we say, Amen. As I mentioned in the beginning, Bella's life reads like a story, and I wish I knew her better, to know her story better, but I know the two of you and Belle, you were there all the time, and I know that you want to share some words with us today. We start with Alex, please.
Dear Mom, we all gathered here today in your memory, so that together, your family and your friends, we may acknowledge and share our joy in the gift that you gave to all of us, and also the pain that your passing brings. In sharing the joy and grief together may lessen pain and remember more the joy. While we know that you are now at peace and your struggles are over, there's a pain and sadness. But even though you are gone, you left a legacy of love and perseverance. The ways you touched our lives will remain. And I ask all the present here today to keep these memories alive. The most important thing in Mom's life was the family. As a mother, a grandmother, and later a great-grandmother. I remember recently Val, Dasha, Emma, and Mark came to see her, and she was overfilled with joy to see her grandkids, to hug them, cherish them. The family was where she drew the strength from, and left her legacy in the family. Being with the family, with all of us, was something that Mom enjoyed the most. Mom's love and caring for the family always remained the focus of her life, and she showed in so many, many ways. I remember when I was just a child, before school, we went together with Mom to Rekina, which is a small town near Leningrad, St. Petersburg now. And Mom showed me a lot of things around. It was very interesting, summertime. But I also remember very vividly that she spent several hours literally in line to buy pineapple. As all you remember, or majority of you remember, pineapples were exotic fruits back in the Soviet Union. She just wanted me to have. And it was actually the first pineapple that I tried in my life. Again, the love and care extended to her family, but not just to her family. Her friends were a big part of her life as well. Unfortunately, majority of these friends are already gone, but some are still here with us and today. And I want to mention specifically Auntie Raya Korina. Thank you for being here today. Thank you much. Auntie Natasha Nikolskaya, she's not here, but I know that she's here in her heart. Again, thank you. Everyone who's here today, personally and in heart, thank you for being my mom's lifelong friends. Thank you for being here. Mom, you gave us all a wonderful lesson. Be strong and persevere. Keep your priorities straight and keep that which is most important in focus. Love and care for your family and your friends, and show this love. Do not let adversity to set you back. This is all your legacy about. And this is a wonderful legacy that will stay with all of us. The cantor just read the beautiful words of Ecclesiastes. I'm going to close with Ecclesiastes, and I kind of repeat what you just said. To everything there is a season, a time for every matter under the heaven, a time to plant and time to gather what was planted, a time to weep and time to laugh, a time to dance and time to mourn, a time to keep, a time to cast away. Thank you for everything, Mom. Your love will be forever etched in my heart. I'll miss you dearly, but your spirit will live always. I love you, Mom. Sorry for emotion.
Mama, first of all, thank you everyone for being here. Спасибо большое, что вы сегодня пришли. We're here to celebrate my mom's life. A life lived with quiet strength, deep love, and incredible resilience. Some of my earliest memories are just me and Mom walking down hand in hand from a grocery store down Krasnoarmeyskaya улица. Those of you who know Minsk, I don't know, I must have been around 4 years old for it to remember it, right? So I had a balloon. In my memory, it was sort of a bright red balloon that I was holding, right? And then, like any little kid, I just let the balloon go. So there it goes flying away. So it flew off. And I just sort of remember watching it float away. But what I remember the most, and why I remember this, is my mom just sprinting down the street, right, trying to catch the balloon, not even thinking twice. And you know, that was her. She didn't ask questions. She didn't hesitate. She just acted, always putting the people she loved first. She gave everything to our family, to me, to my brother, to my father, to Bel, her grandson. She built a life in Minsk through decades that were not easy. But she gave us comfort. She gave us stability and core. So many of my childhood memories, thanks to Mom. Playing outside with friends while she watched quietly from the balcony, summers by the sea in Pärnu. She loved those moments of peace, sitting near the water while we built sandcastles. Life may have been full of responsibilities, but she carved out joy where she could for all of us. Over the past day, since Mom passed, I've heard from so many people. Old school friends from Minsk, now in San Francisco, in Israel, in Spain, in Belarus. And each message reminded me of something I maybe took for granted. A friend told me how back in the 90s my parents quietly sent packages to his mother when things were really hard in Minsk. Another one still remembers Holednik that my mom made on a hot summer day some 40 years ago. And many have remembered how she watched over us with care, always there, always steady. And that was the kind of person she was. Introverted, yes, but deeply, deeply loyal. Her friendships lasted decades, lifetime, and so did her love. She wasn't one for big words or public praise, but she managed to create this space for us to grow, and she never stopped showing up for people that she cared for. Even when we moved to the United States and she had to really start over at the age of 53, she carried herself with the same quiet determination as she did all her life. She worked factory shifts, she did night classes, but she also made breakfasts and lunches and dinners, all without any complaints. Whenever you ask her, it was just a simple "все нормально," even when probably wasn't. I'll remember her in the scent of lilacs outside our apartment on Engelsa, in the music of Akujava that she and my dad loved, in the gentle rituals of New Year's Eves spent with lifelong friends. She gave us so much and she asked for so little. Спасибо, Mama. May your memory be a blessing. Thank you.
It's very difficult to follow all the beautiful words that were said here today. For me, Babushka was this quiet presence that has always helped. When the family left, late 80s, my mom and I, we stayed behind. And so those packages that were talked about today, they were a real high point that brought enormous joy in things that I didn't even know sometimes existed. When I came to the States, Tim, Alex, Dedushka, and Babushka, they all helped me get situated. And I felt that I could do anything because I knew I had a family I could fall back on. I didn't realize it, but the more I think about it now, it becomes clear to me that Grandma's example of serving people and family, those that she loved, actually became somewhat of a credo for myself. When I first came to the States, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I wanted to conquer the world. As I began to grow up a little bit, I started to realize that family means so much more. I think I learned from her that if you care about those you love, that would give you so much more than achieving any career goals or monetary targets. My wife and I, we joked when we had our children that the blood was strong because both of them looked surprisingly like Babushka Bella when they were little. As I look at my daughter Emma, I see a lot of that determination and perseverance that was talked about today. Not as quiet, but it's certainly there. And my son, he is loving and caring, and I hope that through my children, and hopefully their children, the legacy of Bella and Ilya will continue to live on, hopefully forever.
Alex, Tim, and I spoke, at the end of our conversation, I think it was Tim that I asked about what do you think is the legacy that Bella leaves behind? And there were two things that he brought up. One was something that Bella just talked about, this resilience, this determination. And another one, actually I flip it, that's the first one, is of course dedication and love for her loved ones, for family. But also listening to all of you today, it occurred to me that another unique ability that Bella had was to create acts of loving kindness through small acts of loving kindness, right? Buying a pineapple, catching a balloon, being kind, making a sandwich. That seemed to be small things, but yet they build into this beautiful idea of love and dedication. And so before I say the final prayer, I'd like for us to take a moment and close our eyes for a minute. And I encourage each of you to bring up at least one of these memories. It may be just a simple memory of, staying in line for something where she was present and she was herself. Let us close our eyes for a moment and remember Bella. Please rise for the final prayer. תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים ותפורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזכירים. את נשמת בלה בת אייבן דפיינה, שחלקה לעולמה, בגן עדן תהי מנוחתה, הנבא לרחמים, הסתירך בסדר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור כקיימת נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of our beloved Bella, who is gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May Bella's soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated.
This concludes the services. There will not be an interment today. The family is going to
Just a quick announcement. We're gonna go to remember Mom and celebrate your life at the restaurant. It's called Jabet Jalou. It's not too far from here. So whoever wants to come, always invited. It would be our pleasure to see you there.
You know the address?
At the Glen.
The Glen on Patriot?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The 2601, and that's the plan.
2601 Aviator Lane. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.